So this is Jonathan Metz. I'm here with TJ Lutz from Pony Studios, developers of Cloudberry Kingdom, coming out very soon on Wii U as well as PC, 360, PS3, anything else?
PlayStation Vita.
PlayStation Vita, that's a good platform for it. 3DS, any consideration?
We're definitely considering it, but we can't make any promises quite yet.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So we first saw this game last year. I think your Kickstarter was ongoing last year at E3, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's right.
So congratulations on completing that, and now that you're very close to finishing the game, when is it coming out?
We still don't have an official release date.
Yeah.
We're looking in the next couple of months. So
Great.
We're looking summer 2013. So.
Right. So this was a Kickstarter game, now being published by Ubisoft. What has that done for the game?
Really, Ubisoft has helped get us out there more. I mean, we're small. We don't have the means of, really getting out there and publicizing ourselves, and Ubisoft has helped a lot with that, as well as, there's tons of certification paperwork, all sorts of nonsense that we'd be lost without them.
Sure. So what's their involvement in the actual development then?
None. They gave us complete freedom. They were just like, hey, this is our game. Can you guys help us out? And they're like, yeah. Like, we don't want to touch it. We're like, all right.
That seems like a pretty special partnership. It's an authentically indie developed game, even crowdfunded, and yet you've got a major corporation publishing it.
Yeah. No, it's awesome how flexible they've been with us.
Do you feel like that's the best of both worlds?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
So, one of the really sorry, we're watching the gameplay and it's completely wacky. One of the really interesting things about this game is when you guys first did the Kickstarter. I think this wasn't right off the bat, but within a few days after it started, you announced that it was going to be coming to Wii U and that people who backed the game could get a download code for the Wii U version. Is that still going to be the case?
That's still the case. Everyone that's backed us we've got their copies ready.
Awesome. And this is the procedurally generated, or I guess I should say AI generated 2D platformer. I noticed that basically you play the game with a D-pad and one button.
Uh-huh.
Did you find that was restrictive in terms of designing the game, or did it kind of open you up and allow you to focus on other elements?
What really only having a couple of buttons does for you is it makes it really easy to pick up and play. And what we found is games that you can just pick up and play immediately and just catch on to are really a lot more fun than games with a huge learning curve.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can still get way better at this, even though it's very simple controls, but it's just, as far as restrictions, it's not so bad. It's really nice.
It might be one of the very few 2D platformers I played that doesn't have a run button. Can you describe the thinking behind that?
Well, we thought about having a run button, and when we were testing it with people, they weren't necessarily that good with it. They weren't picking it up as quickly as we would have liked. So we really wanted people to just, boom, have it, good to go.
Yeah. So you move left and right and you jump.
Yep. Completely it.
Very, very simple, and yet the game is completely different every time you play it. The levels are generated as you go through, and they're always possible to complete.
Yep.
Now, I know you told me last year when we talked that the way you ensure that is that there's an AI that plays through the level before you play it to ensure that there is a way to get through it.
Correct.
In a lot of the trailers for this game, you've shown levels that are obscenely complex with thousands of lasers and spinning spiky balls and fire sticks and horrible, horrible things. And I'm wondering, are those being played by real people or are you using the AI footage in some of those?
That is 100% me. I would never let an AI get in our YouTube videos.
I don't know if I believe you.
It's all the AI, yeah. That guy's a jerk. He likes to show off.
Yeah. So we're looking at the multiplayer mode here, this was actually the first time I played multiplayer. I have the Steam beta, but I've only played that single player, and this is also the first time I played it on Wii U. Could you tell us a little bit about the structure of the multiplayer and also some of the Wii U features?
Sure. It's 4-player local multiplayer. It's going to be that way on every system. Basically, 1 through 4 players. You can play in multiplayer specifically. There's Bungee mode, which seems to be, everyone's loving that. Every single character is attached together with a bungee cord. So, the physics play out. You're dragging each other into obstacles. Whenever someone dies, they're dead weight. Pretty awesome stuff there.
So they stay attached even after they die.
Yeah, even after they die. So, once we even have a fun task that we like to do with 4 players. If there's only one guy left, you got to cheer hard for him to get through because it's hilarious watching him drag 3 dead bodies.
Yeah, so I noticed that when you're playing multiplayer, the characters don't interact with each other, so they can overlap. And it looks like the main difference between that and single player is that only one person has to get to the exit for everyone to proceed.
Correct, yeah.
So in some ways it makes the game easier, although a little more visually chaotic, which is probably
it's a nice balancing feature.
Right. And on the Wii U, how are you using the gamepad, and how is the game a little bit different on Wii U than anything else?
Really, since we were releasing on multiple platforms, we had to keep them all, keep the parity with all of them. So we really weren't able to exercise the Wii U gamepad as much as we would have liked. Yeah. We may be able to make adjustments to that in the future, but for now we have to maintain parity across all platforms.
But I see that the game is being displayed on the screen, so can you play it remotely?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
And you can use the gamepad. Use the gamepad with 3 remotes. Mix and match. Do whatever.
All right. I guess finally I should ask about the campaign mode, because you're not showing that here.
No, we are.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, it's open.
Okay, so I'm going to have to check that out in a minute. But that's never been part of the beta.
Right.
So can you tell us a little bit about that? Is it primarily a single player, or is that also multiplayer?
That is also multiplayer. We wanted to make sure that everything is multiplayer, because honestly we believe that Cloudberry is way more fun, with a group of players. But campaign is completely multiplayer. There's 320 levels. Basically, through level 280 is the actual story. We've got cinematic cutscenes and all that. Up through 280, you'll see the story, and then we kind of gave you some bonus in there with us playing with some of the obstacles and changing things up a bit and going a little nuts with it. So,
is the story going to tell us what a Cloudberry is?
The story will keep that a mystery, but the story will tell you a little bit more about Bob and Cobbler and the Princess, who you're probably unfamiliar with at this point.
Yeah, I am. All right, thanks a lot, TJ. Really looking forward to the game.